Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I am your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 10 of Symphogear. So I'm getting to another episode of this because, as I said before, I'm really into this. I'm very invested to see what happens next. And last time we saw that Chris was getting some help from Uncle Commander, and was kind of being a sassy Sue about it. But, she was accepting the food. And I like how he was like proving it wasn't poisoned or anything the entire time because he understands that she has severe trust issues right now. So yeah, I kind of dug that. We also had Tsubasa singing at the same venue where everything went down 2 years back, which allowed her to like finally find some catharsis from the trauma she had been facing. And that doesn't by any means mean that the trauma is gone. Um, it just means that she's had a notable victory here. That she was able to heal from her pain a bit. But like with trauma in real life, it's not as simple as one victory. It's not something that's just going to go away after one time. So it's going to have to be something she has to continue working with. And in order to allow her to keep singing, Hibiki took on a mission all her own. Kind of ended up working with Chris a little bit. But yeah, so allowed her to keep singing, allowed her to just keep on going. And apparently now she's going to have a gig over across the sea and everything. So how's that going to work for the finale coming up? Excuse me. Because does that mean she's not going to be here for when Fine presumably attacks? I don't know. I don't know how this is going to be worked out. But in the meantime, we're just going to get to this episode, see what happens this time, and hope for the best. We've had a little bit of downtime lately, so I'm wondering if we're going to get back into the swing of things with this one. I don't know. Either we will or we won't. Either way, even the downtime stuff's been pretty good lately. So we'll see. But, like I said, let's just get this going. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So some pretty big things happened in this episode. Uncle Commander and all the others found out that Ryoko is a traitorous bitch. And that she's Fine, and that, she's behind everything that happened at the castle there with those, I guess they're supposed to be Americans. And that she's, the one who is behind, torturing and imprisoning Chris and everything. So they know now. Hibiki and Tsubasa do not. Uncle Commander was specifically holding that information back while on call with them. Even when Ryoko herself, Fine, called as well. When she called in, like, he still held back because they were still on the call too. And I'm thinking, what if she knew that call was happening? What if she, like, had hacked into their servers or something? She knew that call was happening and purposefully butted in at that point. That would be interesting. If she somehow had the ability to, basically watch them to that degree, even without directly being in the base and all. So that secret is very much out. The next big thing that happened is Chris. Chris's development has been slow going, and as I said in the reaction, as I believe I had said in previous videos too, this is actually a good thing. So many shows have it where the character is just redeemed, like, kind of in an instant, and it's, like, sometimes that's been able to work, but very rarely. Because the issue is it's not believable or realistic at all. Characters don't just get redeemed like that. It doesn't happen. People in real life don't just get redeemed that easily. If someone was doing bad things, it takes effort. It takes time on not only their parts, but the part of the people around them to, you know, bring them back from that kind of thing. And it can take shorter times than others, or it can take longer times. It just depends on the person. Chris was kind of deep in it. She had a pretty deep hatred and distrust of humanity that was fed by Fine. The horrors she went through as a kid as well. And it's like, we understand why she's so distrusting. It makes sense. But at the same time, her being redeemed was always in the cards. That was always going to happen. There's no doubt about that. The question was, how is it going to happen? How are they going to handle this? And the way that they're handling it has been excellent, honestly. By having it be gradual, by having her have those moments where Hibiki talks to her and she starts to see different sides to humanity than she's used to. Uncle Commander brings her food and everything. It's like, and it builds up to the point where she starts to change little by little. She starts to find a little more trust in these characters. And so by this episode, you see she has to put all of her faith in them. She has to put all of her trust in them to keep her safe while she's charging up. And that requires insane faith. And she's not fully there yet, by any means. She's still not completely ready to call herself one of the good guys. And that's fine. That's completely fair. But she's on the right path, and that is proven by her song. She talks about how the feeling of holding hands with them was nice. How it felt good. She talks about having a dream for the first time. About how all of this has changed her and allowed her to grow. She's acknowledging that she's changing and that she's starting to accept all of this. And it allows her to use a really powerful attack. Her song that fuels this insane barrage of long-range projectile attacks is a song of her acknowledging her own changes, acknowledging her growth, acknowledging her ability to trust in others for the first time in her life. And I think that's pretty damn important. Not just for her character, but for kind of the messages and themes that this series is clearly trying to get across. Like, people are stronger together. You should have someone you can rely on. Someone who can be there for you. It's not saying you have to be like the most extroverted person ever. No, you can be an introvert and stuff. You can value your alone time. That's all well and good, but having someone who you can trust in, having someone you can rely on and who will care about you and be there for you is important. It's almost kind of necessary. And I think Chris is starting to learn that here. She's going to be tsundere about it for a bit, but she'll probably come out of that too. Obviously, don't spoil me on anything regarding that for the future, but we see that she is becoming more and more willing to work with them and even, again, let them have her back, which is a huge bit of growth. And we know it's only going to continue from here. But the third big thing that happened in this episode was the ending, the cliffhanger it left off on. We find out that the three giant airborne noise that were just spawning a bunch of others, which again, very reminiscent of the Wyvern in Ruby Volume 3. So it's just spawning others, so Tsubasa and Hibiki are taking care of them, and Chris helps take care of, the spawners themselves up in the sky using her heavy artillery. And it all works out. Unfortunately, it's made very clear that this was entirely a ruse. That this was a way to get the Symphogear users, Hibiki and Tsubasa, and probably Chris as well, away from the school so that they could attack. It was a way to specifically get those three far away so that the school would be unprotected. This was entirely bait. And, we know Fine is smart. Like, in her guise as Ryoko, she's a goofus, but she's smart as hell. Like, that's never been a question. So, it's not a surprise that she would pull something like this. In fact, even though I didn't necessarily see it coming, it makes a lot of sense. And honestly, I feel like I should have seen it coming. We see that this is a pretty bad thing because, again, they're not anywhere near the school right now. They're at the tower. And they could possibly get there, but it's going to take some time. And that's some time that would put others in danger. Now, Miku is there, and Miku did say she would help get everybody down in the shelter if need be. But you got to remember that Miku does not have a Symphogear or anything. She's a normal person, and while we saw that she can run and everything, it's like you can only run so much. And on top of that, having to protect others as well, it's like, I don't know if Miku has the ability to do that. I'm not doubting Miku. It's just, again, she has no powers and she's a normal person. Unless Uncle Commander somehow got a relic to her and had her use it or something. Or maybe some kind of secret other Symphogear, then I don't see how they're going to be able to do anything here. Because the other three, it's going to take a bit for them to get back. And Uncle Commander, it's like, he has some pretty wild powers somehow. We still have no clue how. But I don't know if he can hold off that many noise if there's going to be a lot of them for that long on his own. It's just, Yeah, this is a really bad scenario. It really is. So the question kind of comes to, like, what's going to happen? Where is this going to go? I think this is probably going to lead into the finale, though. The next three episodes, 11, 12, and 13, are probably all going to be kind of this big connecting finale. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how that all goes down. How this all closes out and how this attack on the school goes and everything. I still assume this is going to have something to do with Hibiki faking her death, though. Like, based on the first episode's opening scene and everything at the graveyard, either she's going to fake her death, or everybody's going to think she's dead. Like Yuji from Jujutsu Kaisen. Well, technically he was dead for a short time. Technically. But you know what I mean. She's either going to, like... Her death is either going to be, like, temporary, or it's going to be faked. And I do think it is going to connect with this season, at the end of the season somehow. I don't know exactly how, but yeah. Either way, this was another really good episode. I love the part where they just stop in the middle of battle to have, like, this heart-to-heart moment, and he's just, like, holding their hands, and it's like, let's connect. And it's like, dude, girls, you're in the middle of battle. Somehow they did not get attacked during all of that. That's very much like an anime thing, or just, animation and media in general have done that. And it's always been kind of stupid and makes no sense. But I'll give it a pass because it was cute, and, it helps with Chris's development, and I want to see that, so I'll give it a pass. But yeah, you can't argue that it's illogical. They wouldn't have had time to do that. Not with the constant barrage of attacking. The noise would have gotten to them and stopped them from being able to do that. It's so silly. But, I mean, hey, I'm still enjoying this. It's still proving to be pretty damn good. And we'll just have to see next time where this starts to go as we head into the battle at the school. So, let me know your thoughts down below, but as always, no spoilers. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.